Shalom. So, hello and welcome to another one of my films about faith in Jerusalem. Now, this one is about Judaism. There's a large Jewish community that lives near me in Manchester, but it is an area that I've never really been that familiar with, just to not really mixing with that many folk of this faith. Now, just to give you an idea, the building over there, which I will go in later because there have been excavations of the Western Wall further into there, I'm literally living behind that building there. It's about 3 minutes walk. So I'm here to learn, and also, by the way, this is not filmed, but as I've been making this, I've had an amazing chat with some Jewish elders that has just really given me a confidence to put this up. So as I've said, as I try and do in these films, give a little overview, and I've been encouraged to do so by these elders, so let me do a little explanation. So, this is the oldest of the monotheistic religions, and it's the parent of Christianity and Islam. It's believed around 1850 BCE God appeared to Abraham in Haran, Mesopotamia, if you sort of think around the area of Iraq. He asked him to leave his family and country for a land that he would show him. That was Canaan. He lived in this land as an immigrant, and this is crucial to the patriarchal narratives of Abraham, Isaac and Jacob, the founding fathers of the faith. It's searching for a homeland and never feeling at home in Canaan. For the purposes of this film, I'm going to move forward to 1000 BCE and King David. He had tried to bring the Ark of the Covenant into the city before, but it had proved highly dangerous to those who had tried to move it. For some time, it had been kept on the edge of the territory. The Ark actually held the tablets of the Ten Commandments given to Moses, and was seen as Hashem's seat, and could only be approached by very few people. David felt it was right that he should build a temple, but however, it wasn't for him to choose that spot. It was for Hashem. So the spot was finally revealed up above where we're looking now. This is what's known as the Temple Mount. David, however, was not allowed to build the temple, and it was left to his son Solomon to build it by around 950 BCE. The temple is around an area as to what's known as the foundation stone is laid. This is considered by many Jews to be the first piece of rock put here by Hashem. Many other incidents of huge spiritual meaning have happened around this area. The first temple stood until in 597 the Babylonians invaded. Jerusalem was a vassal state of Babylonia, but it was wanting freedom again. There were several deportations to Babylonia of Jewish leaders and many others considered of the elite. Now, interestingly, even though the temple was plundered, there is actually no mention of the Ark. Now, from a personal point of view, yes, it was this artifact that got me interested in this whole sort of area of faith as a young child, and yes, it was to do with a certain film. Where it has gone, though, has fascinated the world forevermore. However, since I've been doing a little reading, there is something that struck me from a prophet called Ezekiel. He was actually taken to Babylon, and in effect, he was shown a vision by Hashem that Hashem now was with his people, not just residing in a temple or an ark. So, in effect, where the Jewish people went now, Hashem went with them. This actually changed a lot of thinking within the faith. And sort of what I've drawn from it is that the ark wasn't needed anymore. So the second temple was started in 516 BCE after Babylon was overrun by the Persians, and they were allowed back home again. So what we're actually going to look at specifically is King Herod, who was a vassal king of the Romans. His family had recently converted to Judaism, but he was trusted by the actual Roman government to run this state, but he was known as Herod, King of the Jews. And in around about 19 BCE, he decided to rebuild the temple. So what we're looking at right now, and what I'm obviously going to do when I get right up to the wall, I'm not going to be talking, I will just sort of show it a bit closer, are those larger stones, because these are part of the 37-acre platform that was part of the rebuild of the second temple by King Herod. And these are really genuinely the only pretty much remaining parts of any of that building. During the years of exclusion from the city, the Jews had often congregated and prayed around the Mount of Olives. However, around the early 16th century, this was becoming dangerous due to Bedouin incursions. Recently, Jerusalem had had new rulers in the Ottomans, and they were treated far more fair under this rule. An incident involving an Italian Jew who arrived claiming he was the Messiah had drawn attention to this particular part of the wall. To give an example, it was actually part of a shopping area in Herod's time and had no religious significance. The Sultan Suleiman issued an edict for the Jews to actually have a place to worship. So a space was created and excavated downward here. It was so people could gather, however it was very small, barely feet across. Due to its history, it was felt the presence would still be here, and due to its position so close to the site of the temple, it was felt the gate of heaven is right above the wall, and prayers ascend directly to the divine throne. Also though, it is a reminder to the Jewish faith of what once was, and also what has happened and what has been lost. This is why the term Wailing Wall has been used. It has obviously expanded, and most significantly, recently, was in 1967, when parts of the old city were knocked down to form this huge paved area in front of the wall. It just shows that even in very recent times, faith literally is still changing the face of this ancient city. So I'm just going to make my way up to the wall. I'm going to pick a spot, then just quietly just touch it. You know, I'm learning all about faith here. And also prayers are actually put into the wall because it is felt that their words are taken straight upwards to heaven. And I think once a week they're actually buried on the Mount of Olives. So let's go to the wall. I was just about to do a piece to camera like this, just to talk about that filming, particularly to the Orthodox Jews, can be seen as very offensive. So it's why I've been sat here in the corner. And also I've been here for about 4 days now, and literally I've been here at 2 o'clock in the morning, I've been here at midday. I've just been watching the decorum, if you get what I mean, about what you should and shouldn't do. However, this lovely Jewish elder just came up to me and said hello, and I've just had this wonderful 5-minute chat about faith with them. And you know, I said where I was from, Manchester and things, and they were wonderful. So I've been quite took by that. That's something I'll never forget. Right, as you can see, that really got me. That was quite something, and something so inclusive that I really feel quite honoured to have been a part of. So yes, I'm just going to go in the tunnel over there just to see where there have been more excavations of this amazing place. So there's an amazing sanctuary in here where I have actually visited before. It's quite intense. A lot of concentration, a lot of dedication. but it's just to show here how the wall has been excavated so you can see more of the old original temple. I'm respectfully going to stop filming this point down here because it just doesn't feel right in this area. But thank you very much for coming with me to this amazing exploration of Judaism, and certainly I will never forget this visit.